Hello, this is Editing River. I don't know what happened to my hair. I tried to fix it just now, but in this whole video, it literally looks like I'm wearing a teddy bear costume because my hair was giving me like little ears on the side of my head. Like, it sounds like it won't be that bad, but when you see it, you'll know. I don't know what happened. Um, have fun. Welcome back to weeks 20 and 21 of Let's Make a Book Baby, where I am taking you from the very start of writing my book until I publish it. We're starting to get into the part of the process that I think a lot of people are wondering how in the world to publish a book, because it is in the zone of ending a book, but not only ending it, it's like then you have to like turn it into something like a physical actual book. You have to title it, edit it, format it, decide how it's going to be distributed. So let's get into how that has gone. Oh no, here comes my dog. Look at the boy. Look at this boy. Hello. Thank you. I will say that in week 20, I didn't upload because I was feeling terrible. It was also during our charity campaign, the Love for Trans campaign that we've been doing so far the past 2 years. We did raise funds for Trans Lifeline while I was feeling incredibly unwell, like chronic illness wise. So thank you so much to everybody who joined in and supported with that. You can still grab some extra bonus rewards if you'd still like to donate and then receive a gift from us as thanks in the description. But because I wasn't feeling well chronic illness wise, it made it very difficult to write my book between everything else that I already had to get done, because my energy was just already so narrowed that I only had a few tasks that I could do each day to fill that. And oh my god, he's farting so badly. I don't want to open my mouth. Okay, I think I survived it. When I had other things to do and other obligations, that made it very, very hard to fit in enough mental energy to write my book. If I am just having a rest day, I will be more restless and not know what to do with my mental energy except write my books, but that was not the case for me. I really just had a hard time getting things done, which was pretty much the worst timing imaginable. But what it did help me to do was have a lot more time to sit there and contemplate the ending, because I still have had this gnawing feeling in the back of my head that something within this book wasn't right. I know I keep talking about this and it's very hard for me to tell if it's OCD or what it is, but I think that I've actually finally identified something and figured out a way to solve some of the issues that I think I was seeing within the book. And I'm very excited about it because I didn't need to wait to get to the editing process to get there. There's a whole chunk of the book that I realized by taking a step back that I was like, I don't really like how this is going. It's taking so long and there's already like limited word count if I'm already writing this much. If I'm figuring that out before I have to make Kayla look at it and ultimately tell me the same thing. Kayla is my editor. She's edited all my books with me. Then that saves both of us so much time and energy, because I don't need to then go back and be like, let me rewrite the entire middle section of this book and then make you reread it again, and then I have to go and edit it again. It's like by figuring this out slowly, it has helped me. And I think that's because of how many books that I have published with her helping me edit them and see, like, I can now identify what some of these weird feelings are as not being right. We've talked about being like, well, maybe I can just wait and see what Kayla thinks, but like, if it's still bothering me at this point, I'm deciding that's not a good thing. And the way that I think that I am making this into a good thing is that I am refocusing my energy on writing this to make it very fun. Like, I want the writing process and the reading process to feel fun. It's okay if sometimes the writing process is stressful for me. That's really normal with books, unfortunately. But I do want to make sure that I am enjoying the story. And I think that's what ultimately made me decide that this chunk of words was not the right vibe. And I did that by rereading the book, which I usually do before I finish the book. I'm taking this as the time that I usually use when I get to what I think is almost the end of the book, where I go back to the beginning and I reread to see, okay, what are all the things that I had started within this book, and deciding which pieces I'm going to answer by the end of this current book, which pieces are going to be like teased at the end, answered more later in book 2, and if I do a book 3, in book 3. So I think that stepping back for 2 weeks gave me that time to where the past few days I've slowly added more and more to my notes and more to that middle section of, okay, this is actually how I think it would be more fun if I restructured it this way. And it's so much better. I feel so much better about it. And it was because I took the time to step back and didn't force myself to keep writing and write towards the ending when I was still feeling like, this isn't like exactly what I want it to be. So I feel much better. At the same time, I also was still focusing on marketing. So I mentioned in the last update video that I was sending a bunch of book 1 of My Shy Alpha, the previous series, to influencers. And some of them had already started posting, so that was very nice of them. You'll probably see a few more if you follow me on social media, because I'm definitely making sure to reshare them. It's part of this process of then launching this book 1 of this new series. And I think that's somewhat of where I'm seeing a lot of the pressure that I'm feeling come through. This isn't just a book. For me, it is the start of a whole series and the most important, arguably, book in the entire series, other than the very ending of whichever book ends the series, which is just like a narrow piece of the entire series as a whole, whereas book 1 is going to be the most read book out of the entire series. And if it doesn't have all the vibes that I'm wanting to introduce throughout the rest of the series, then that's a problem to me. So I have been thinking of titles. I have been looking at typography for the titles of the book. I was shopping for font licenses on like sites where you can actually get a proper license for things. One of my favorites is called Creative Market. I also follow some typographers, so I will look through their things and see, okay, do they have anything that suits this particular book? But I ended up ultimately finding a new typographer's work that I really liked on Creative Market, and I was really surprised that it actually worked with the book, but it was through a bunch of trial and error that I figured out something. So I do have the title designed. And it was originally because this whole time I've had a title in the back of my mind that I was like, I don't know if this is good enough. I mentioned this last time, I don't even know if it's like too similar to other titles, but I'm starting to feel like it's not actually too similar, because when I'm doing Google searches, things that are coming up are not exactly the same thing. And like if I use a word like Omega, it's gonna come up with a werewolf or Omegaverse book, like whatever, that's fine. That's kind of my intention, but it doesn't have the exact combination of these words that I want to use. And I still feel like I'm leaning towards that. So I can't remember if I've said it in another video. If you'd like to look back and try to find it, then you can. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait until my title reveal date, which I will announce next week. I'm going to do a whole reveal. So also, if you would like to know the title early, and if you would like to see the title and be part of who's going to announce it with me, I'm going to reach out to some people who have followed me for a while and express interest in this book and ask if they would like to post about it with me, if they are people who post on Bookstagram or Book Talk, because it is much more fun when we can all interact and make it more of like a celebration type of event without having to wait all the way until the release of the book. So definitely feel free to comment below or DM me on social media, and I'll tell you it early. That was very exciting because I feel like that's one step closer. That was like something that was just really bugging me, that I was like, I just cannot figure this out, and I want to talk about it, like come here and talk about it and tell you like blah blah blah, as in the title is coming along well this week, you know? So I'm very excited for that. I will tell you all of the details on what's happening. Speaking of that, I've also started to create a very rough timeline, including asking Kayla when she's available to edit right now and how soon we can actually manage to get that done. We're discussing it. A timeline is being set. I don't know if I will tell you the exact timeline, but I will tell you that one idea that I had is that I'm going to start incorporating something that I have wanted to do for a long time into my book launch pipeline. Usually the pipeline goes like this. You write the book, you edit the book, and create all the different pieces for it that go on the outside or inside to make it a physical book. Even if that's like an ebook, because that is kind of a physical file. No, it's a digital file. I don't know. You still have to make pages out of it. So you have to gather all that stuff together while editing, sending it to different readers to review the book with me, tell me anything that feels off to them, go back and edit again, and in the meantime start teasing the book. So in this teasing period of marketing before the release, that's usually what I call the pre-order period. Sorry, that was my dog. In the pre-order period, I try to just spread the news that this book is going to exist. And some of that has already started from doing these videos and talking with you every week. So that's pretty cool. But I don't really feel like without a title, without a cover, that I can have a very concrete way of being like, this is the book that's coming out and here's when it's coming out. So usually in the pre-order period where I like really go in and talk about it, that's once I have a publishing date set. I cannot currently guarantee that publishing date exactly, even though I have a date in mind. So I am waiting until Kayla and I get further along into the editing process to see what we're gonna do there. But I want to incorporate within this pre-order period a way to make my book releases more engaging and much more exciting. So normally I also during this pre-order period create merch for my books. I create like stickers, bookmarks, sometimes like special editions of my book. My dog just farted. It's so bad. Let me just not breathe for a second. It's like in my mouth. I don't remember what I was saying. My face is so red because it's so bad. Oh my god, I can't breathe in here. He has no idea what he's done. It's still really rough in here. Okay, I'm just gonna suffer. Anyway, during this pre-order period, I usually create things like stickers, bookmarks. I'll always create a hardcover edition of my book alongside the paperback, but I always have wanted to do like fancy special editions. So my thought was that instead of struggling to do that all by myself, it would be more fun if I did a Kickstarter launch for it so that it would not only help me launch the book and fund it, get to pay Kayla more, pay myself more, and spread the word about the book better, but then I'd be able to give you more fun things and it would fund special editions earlier and you would get to read it early if you back the Kickstarter. So I was like, okay, this is definitely feeling more like a win-win situation to me where I could send the Kickstarter backers the book a couple weeks early before the launch date and that would be very exciting for all of us. And then also, it could be like very fancy versions of it and it wouldn't put as much strain on me to where I'd have to wait years for the book to do better before I could fund those special editions. So I am very excited about that. I think that that's going to be a way that I launch my books from now on, possibly. I have been thinking about it for a while, and this just feels like the right time to try to implement it into how I launch my books. So I'll tell you more about that as I have more details. But that means in the next few weeks, this is what my life is going to look like. I'm going to try to finish my book, writing the whole thing and editing it a bit myself by the end of April. Like that leaves me only 3 weeks from now, but we all know that I write very fast, sometimes to my detriment. And so I don't think that that's going to be a problem of like the word count aspect, but I do have a lot of different obligations still that are pulling on me and that's been a bit stressful. I've worked on ways the past couple weeks to adjust my life and my schedule to make that easier on myself. So I feel good about that. Then by the end of April, I'm going to send my book to Kayla and some of my beta readers. As soon as Kayla's working on it and then I have this like 1 to 2 week window of her reading it and me not being able to make major edits until I get her feedback, that's going to be the zone where I am cranking out the cover artwork and the interior artwork because I always put illustrations inside of my book. This is one illustration that I think I might put in black and white in the book, but I would like to have at least 10, if not 12 or 15 little bits of scenes from the book that I think are standout moments that will not feel like it's ruining your imagination of how things look. It's supposed to be more of like a fun way that I show you how I picture that scene. That will be what I'm working on. I also will have to work on any of these details for special editions after I get that done. So if I create this, I will then print a mock-up of my book, send it to myself, start taking pictures with it, and basically show you what it's going to look like with the finished cover on it. So that's gonna be crazy, very crazy. It will not be edited, that first copy of mine, but something that Kayla and I already kind of do so that we can read the book and edit on paper inside of the book. That's what a lot of these books back here are on this shelf that we collectively decided to one day auction off somehow to raise funds for charity. So when you make my books pop off, that will happen. For right now, that's what I'm going to focus on in the next 2 months. It's kind of daunting. I'm getting excited though. Like by that time, we'll have gathered all the materials needed to do a Kickstarter and then work with a manufacturer to print the special editions of the book and some fancy bookmarks and stuff. So, okay, I'm excited. I will tell you more about that. I'll tell you next week what the title reveal date will be. So for now, I hope you have a great week. Thank you for sticking around, and I will see you very soon. Goodbye.